My name is Lashawnda Smith, and I am the host for the First Year Business Podcast. I created this podcast so it can be used as a tool to help guide you through your first year in business. I will talk about the struggles, the tips, the do's, the don'ts, the highs, and the lows. You name it. So, grab a glass of wine, get relaxed, maybe get a pen and paper so you can take notes, and I hope you enjoy today's show. Welcome to episode 3 of today's podcast, the First Year Business Podcast. I feel so good because this is the 3rd episode, and I am loving it. I am loving creating these, so I look forward to you guys receiving some type of wisdom, some type of gem from today's episode. So today's episode, if you haven't seen the title already, is Are You Built for the Life of Entrepreneurship? I'm going to tell you the things that they don't tell you about entrepreneurship that is all required for you to run a successful business, for you to reach the levels that you want to reach, all of that. But before I get into that, I want to briefly introduce myself for those who may be new. My name is Lashawnda Smith, also known as the First Year Business Coach. I coach new business owners who are in their first year business on how to run their business, how to grow their business, like everything business for that first year. Because a lot of new business owners tend to get stuck. They tend to get overwhelmed because they started a business and didn't realize what all was required. And so I'm the person that's going to help guide you through that first year with your journey. But that brings us back to today's episode. If you are a new business owner, this may be really good for you to be prepared for, because these are things that you learn after you've gotten into the game. And you'll hear people brief or like kind of brush past it as if it's not like a really big deal, but these are all really big deals in business. And it's not talking about social media. It's not talking about like any of that stuff. This is all like back end stuff that is required from you as a person in order for your business to be successful. So one of the very first things that I want to talk about is the requirement of a mindset shift. We have so many limited beliefs that we are unaware of, that we were raised to be embedded in our brains, that when we start a business, we start to act out with those limited beliefs without even realizing it. You may have a problem with money and not even realize that you have a limited belief attached to how you view money. Let me dig a little deeper. If you were raised with money being hard to come by, you're going to run your business like that. You're going to run your business thinking, oh, I can't charge this price because if I charge this price, nobody's going to buy it because everyone's tight on money. That is not true. There are so many businesses out here that are making bank, and there are so many people out here that are spending buttloads of money on whatever they want to spend money on. Everybody was not brought up to be in poverty. Everyone was not brought up to struggle. Everyone was not brought up to hold on to their money super tight. I personally struggled with this because I grew up from a low poverty background. It wasn't that we didn't have money, like we didn't do extra that required money. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, even though the lights weren't getting cut off per se, like I knew not to be like just up here asking for money, like, cause it wasn't one of those things where we just bought whatever we want whenever we wanted and did what we want. I knew based on the conversations I would hear my mom talk about that money was hard to come by and we were struggling. And even, at a young age, I had my son at the age of early 16. Like I had just turned 16 the month before that. So I was a teenage mom. And because I grew up in a low poverty background, I instantly was I became a mom that was struggling. So I've always been in this place for so many years where I believed that money was hard to come by and that I couldn't charge but a certain amount because everybody was struggling. And that's just one example of limited beliefs. Like, another limited belief is that you subconsciously don't believe that you deserve happiness. Or another limited belief could be that you don't believe that you deserve to be successful because so many people have talked down on you that you subconsciously believe what they're saying. And these things don't hit you until you start hitting a wall that you can't explain. And you don't understand why you keep hitting this wall or why you keep sabotaging your success. And it's really because of limited beliefs. When you have an idea to start a business, the last thing on your mind is thinking about limited beliefs. Like, you don't hear people say, hey, make sure you get your limited beliefs in order before you start your business. That is not a topic of discussion. What is a topic of discussion is once you get in the game for a little bit and you realize that for some reason you keep hitting a cap. You keep hitting a cap or you keep hitting a wall. You're not understanding why you're hitting this wall. And then that's when the business coach comes in and they start bringing things to your attention that starts triggering these limited beliefs that you were unaware you were struggling with. So that is a really big one that, they don't tell you at the very beginning of your journey, that you should definitely take into consideration, like, what are my limited beliefs? And that's like, I would love to go into a whole podcast just on limited beliefs in the future, where we can actually do exercises on the podcast. If that's something you're interested in, if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely post below in the comments that is something that you are interested in. Because if you are, I will literally create something where we will go over and dig deep into our limited beliefs and have like some some come to Jesus moments. Like, because it's really required. It really is in entrepreneurship. If you're trying to hit 6 figures, if you're trying to leave your full-time job, like, there are certain things that you're going to have to break, and limited beliefs is one of them. So moving on to the next thing that people don't really tell you, I mean, they brush over this one as well, the amount of personal sacrifices that is required when you get into the life of entrepreneurship. You have a good idea and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to launch this. And you launch it and you realize that you are working on your business behind the scene 24/7. And now you're starting to realize that, oh man, I should be spending more time with my kids, or, oh man, I should be spending more time with my husband. But they just have to understand that I'm running my business. Like, I have to do this so that I can spend more time with them. And it's like this never ending cycle that you're saying, oh, maybe next month I'll be able to have more time. And then next month is going to come in. Maybe next year I'll be able to free up more time for my family. And now the whole reason you're starting your business in order to spend more time with your family, now you've replaced your job with your business. And now your business is taking up even more time than the job originally was taking up. Also, another thing, aside from that, like not being able to spend as much time with your family, another thing that they don't really tell you about is, like I said, you're working on your business 24/7, and it requires certain sacrifices where you may not be able to go out to the club with your friends. Okay? Like, you may be used to, and everybody don't club, like I personally don't club, but I know that is one thing that clubbing can be represented by anything. Going to the bar with your friends, going to game night with your friends, like whatever it is that you're used to doing on the weekends. You have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to pick and choose what's important. And I'm not saying that just completely eliminating time with your friends and family is like required, because I highly suggest, especially now that I've experienced sacrificing personal time with friends and family, that you have to, in the early stages of becoming a business owner, you have to find some type of balance, because you don't know when something is going to happen, or if something is going to happen that you're going to regret later on, like, dang, I should have just went ahead and went that one time, so don't completely eliminate it, but it is going to be a requirement for you to pick and choose what you need to do. Maybe every Friday when you and your friends normally go to have movie night or something, maybe you're going to have to sacrifice 2 of those movie nights and work on your business. Maybe you're going to have to sacrifice a couple of those movie nights or game nights or whatever to like work on your website or, fulfill orders. There's different things, because we need to make sure that we prioritize revenue generating activities, but we also want to set our business up where we can automate certain things so that we can start gaining our time back. So that's the whole big thing with automation, like having your emails automated, having your sales process automated, having even like people learning about you be automated, so you're not constantly having to show up. And then if you're able to start making a certain amount of money in your business, hiring a virtual assistant so that they can handle the back end stuff that is taking up hours and hours and hours of your time, that's when it becomes worth it. Because now, instead of you spending 5 hours working on your website, you can hire a VA or a virtual assistant to work on that thing for you. And now you have 5 hours with your kids. That's what we need to work towards doing. But at the beginning stages, when it's just you, there are going to be some personal sacrifices that's going to need to be made, especially if you work a 9 to 5. If you work a full-time job, you already are cutting the amount of time you can work on your business in half, like just right off the bat. And so you really, really have to sacrifice the available time that you do have to work on your business, because you have to go to work, come home, and you're already giving your business the breadcrumbs that's left over of your day, depending on your routine. And we're going to have a whole podcast on routines too, because that needs to be talked about. But yeah, you have to really, if you're working a full-time job, get automation at an early stage. Like, just try to get as much in your business automated as possible so that your business is still running while you're at work. Another thing that requires, that entrepreneurship requires, is patience. A lot of business owners don't have patience, including myself. I'm so impatient. And it's like, we'll make this wonderful plan and we just know it's going to work, and then it doesn't. And then we're sitting here like, dang, it's not working like I thought I would have been farther than I am, and it sucks, and maybe I need to shut my business down. It requires patience. And I'm telling you, I'm so ambitious. It's like, even for me, I struggle with the patience side. Like, if I post something on social media, I want you to respond immediately. Okay, that's what I want. But that's not realistic. It's not. But when you have patience, you're going to learn patience. If you don't have patience before you start your business, you definitely going to adapt and have to get patient, because things are not going to go your way. And there's literally, like, it doesn't matter how perfect you set up a plan to be executed, it is not going to go exactly the way you want it to go. Your launch is not going to go exactly the way you plan for it to go. Your sales are not going to go exactly the way you thought they were going to go. They are not. Like, your business is like that thing that laughs at you, like, oh, you thought this was going to work for me? No, it's not going to work for me. This actually is going to work for me, but you don't know it yet. So we're just going to play around and wait until you figure it out. It literally is trial and error, and trial and error takes patience. It does. So another thing that when you're starting your business that is required is routine changes. Ooh, I can't wait to talk about this. People don't talk about this in business. People don't talk about how important it is for you to have a proper routine and a stable, solid workflow process in business. They don't talk about this. Oh my God. The only reason why I personally feel that I have one up on some people, not all, because even me, I'm still making adjustments daily or monthly on my routines. But I'm a Virgo and I'm very organized. So routines, it's like I have a love-hate relationship with them, because I'm the type of person where I hate doing the same thing over and over and over again. Like I hate doing the same thing A to Z, like from start to finish. Like I like to switch it up, and it could be a good and a bad thing. It could be a good thing because I'm always doing something new, right? Or pursuing something new that piques my interest at that time. It's bad because I'm constantly changing my routine, my flows, like nothing is consistent. Okay, I apologize. I had to pause there because my video on my phone just stopped recording. I had ran out of room. But anyways, as I was saying, that it could be a good and bad thing for me with changing my routines, because, you know, it's good because sometimes I'm always trying different things, but then it's a bad thing because I may be doing this routine and then for some reason I don't finish what I'm starting. And so it's so important for you to have some type of routine for your business. That's what I was getting at. You got to have some type of routine. And what I mean by routine, you need to have a business workflow. It is a requirement, especially if you have other important obligations in your life, like kids, like working for someone, like a husband or a boyfriend. Like if you have other obligations in your life, you need a routine. Because if you don't have a solid routine, you are going to be catching yourself spinning your wheels every single day. Things are not going to be getting done. Things are going to be slipping through the cracks, and you are going to become depressed because you don't feel like you can handle everything. You are only one person, and if you want to be successful with your business, you have to give it structure. Anything worth having has to have some type of structure. You got to have structure. You can't just make the decision to be like, oh, I'm gonna work on my business today, and then choose not to work on your business for 4 days straight, and then think you're gonna just be able to come back and work on your business for 2 hours, and you're gonna make think you're gonna make consistent sales, because you're not. You have to present yourself and position yourself to be organized and to be prepared for the volume that you want. You have to position your business as if you're already making sales in your mind. You have to be like, okay, what are the daily routines that I need in order to have a functional business? Like, for example, sometimes we'll get stuck doing admin work all day. Admin work and back end work. What is admin work? Checking emails, working on your website, responding to comments. Like, everybody's admin is different. Shipping orders, preparing orders, like all those things. And depending on what type of business you have, you can get stuck doing admin work for a long time if you like working on your website and doing this and doing that, and things that aren't necessarily making you money per se, but it's like busy work. That's what they call it. You also have to have a standard routine or a workflow where you know when you're going to be creating content for your business. Don't try. I just talked to a client of mine and I'm helping her through this as we speak. Like, literally, I created a workflow process for her, and this is the first week that she's testing it out while her daughter is with her dad. And I'm telling you, like, she's a definition of spinning your wheels in your business. And the crazy thing is, she's getting some of the stuff done, but she's letting a lot of stuff fall through the cracks as well, which is why I'm trying to help her. So if you know you want to post consistently and you have a certain amount of people or a certain amount of posts that you want to post daily, then you need to know before you start creating content, what content you're planning on creating before you ever start creating. Because if you are just spitting content out and you have no end goal for that content, you're going to be spinning your wheels. Because I'm telling you, social media will take and take and take and take and take as much as you give it. It is a never-ending cycle with social media. So you have to have a workflow where you know, okay, these are my social media days. This is where I'm going to be creating content. This is when I'm going to be editing content. This is when I'm going to be pre-scheduling and uploading content. This is when I'm going to be shipping orders. This is when I'm going to be doing this. This is when I'm going to be doing that. That's what I'm getting at. Every day should be something different that you're working on in your business. And if you have things that you need to do daily, like every single day, then you need to make sure that you are designating at least an hour of time in the very beginning of your day to get those things done, like checking your emails, responding to customers, responding to comments, like those type of things that you have to do every single day. You need to have time dedicated just for that. And then other things that take more time, like creating content, editing content, uploading content, that kind of stuff needs to have dedicated days. You also need dedicated days for business errands. Like if you have to do stuff outside of the house, if you can help it, try to pick at least one day out of the week to get those things done. Now, everybody's business is different, so you may have to do more than one day. But I'm saying you need to have at least one day, and that day should not be the day that you're creating content. Because I'm telling you right now, like, you have to have a proper system if you want a successful business. If you want your business to run smoothly, you have to have some type of structure. And let's talk about the next thing that they don't really tell you about. A lot of stigma out here with you can start your business with no money. And I don't know where they are getting this from, because there is nothing free about starting a business. Like, literally, there is nothing free in creating a business. Literally, the only way you can create a business for free is if you have some type of Etsy shop and you're selling like digital products that you're making online. But even still, it requires an investment of your time. And we're going to kind of, go back to the time thing in a second. Let's just talk about financial investment. Let's just speak on that for a second. With financial investment, if you try to be cheap in business, you're going to get those type of results. That's what it comes down to. You're either going to invest financially or you're going to invest your time. There's no way around it. So if you don't want to invest in Facebook ads and Instagram ads, for example, you're going to invest in time with trying to get organic reach. And this can take hours a day from your time to try to reach the same amount of people that you can spend $5 a day to reach while you're going to handle something else. That's just one example. Things that you need in a business requires money. So I don't know where these people getting this, you ain't got to have no money to start no business, because you got to have some type of money. You got to have money to get your LLC, and hopefully you're getting an LLC. I'm not going to get into the legal stuff, but I'm just going to say, if you want a successful business and you want to do it the right way, go ahead and get your LLC, girl. Don't even procrastinate. Just go ahead and get it so you get these write-offs and, get the benefits and, just go through the process. So when you are making money, then you making legit money. Okay, but that's all I'm going to say in that. But you need to get an LLC, inventory. Like if you sell physical products, inventory, like you got to pay for that. I have business planners. So I have another business called Brand Planners, and I sell business planners and I create business planners. And let me tell you, that was the first physical product that I've ever sold. And when I was in the process of going through inventory, where I had to decide how much I wanted to order for each thing, and I ended up getting, I think, like 20 or 30 planners for each category. And I have a total of like six different planners. And I was like, whoo. Ooh, kind of kicked me in the chest a little bit, because it ain't cheap. And then that's not including shipping. And it's almost like you're prepping for the sale. So you haven't made the sale yet. Some people do pre-orders. I personally, I'm back and forth about pre-orders, especially during this pandemic where things are being held off and stuck at the ports and all this other stuff. But yeah, they had to come out of the pocket, out of business expenses. And if I didn't have that put up, how am I going to sell planners that I don't have? How is that going to work? So inventory, you need money for inventory. And there's another thing that people don't think about. And I'm actually finding this out now that I'm doing 2 different businesses with the first year coach and then with brand planners. Subscription services add up. They are adding up. And I'm in my first year of business with these particular businesses, and they are adding up. And I'm seeing now I'm at a place where I have so many different subscriptions for my business. I'm like, okay, what do I really need all of these right now? Like, can I like swindle by and maybe make some adjustments and eliminate a couple of them? And honestly, no, I can't. But I'm realizing that the more I get into my business, the more subscriptions I need. And what I mean by subscriptions are things that help you run your business. Like ConvertKit helps me with my email list. Canva, I use Canva to create my planner. So I have Canva Pro, I have Photoshop, and that's a monthly subscription in order to have that. I will not get Adobe Premiere. That's what I used to have, because to get Adobe Premiere, that's another subscription. And I think they've recently changed it with Adobe now. But before, if you wanted more than, I think, 2 apps that they use, like if you wanted Photoshop, for example, and Adobe Premiere, you had to pay to get all the apps, because they have a lot of different apps that you can use or whatever. So you had to get the whole collection. But the whole collection is like $50 a month. And I'm like, $50. $50, because that's a lot for a new business owner, like right off the top, just to edit your photos. So that's one of the main reasons why I use my phone to record my videos right now, because I have an app on my phone that is free $99, okay? And actually the quality is not that bad on my phone. So I'm like, I don't have a problem using the camera on my phone to get the job done. It's getting the job done, and I ain't paying $50 to get it done. So it requires investment, and you're either going to invest your time or you're going to invest money. It's going to require one or the other. And then there's certain subscriptions that you're kind of going to need. Like another one is I use QuickBooks. So, and all of these are small investments. Like it's like $9 here, $10 there, $19.99 here. But once you start hitting about 20 of them, that's when they start adding up. And then like just small little miscellaneous things that you have to buy for your business. Like if you need to buy a place to store your inventory, that's a cost. If you have to buy packaging for your products, that's a cost. All of these little things that you need in order to have a business, a functional business that is. So the thing about when you first start, it can kind of be like, I don't want to say sticker shock, but it can kind of be like, you can easily start running into higher expenses than you anticipated, because at the very beginning, you're kind of getting a lot of stuff right off the bat, just to create the foundation for your business. And you're not making money yet. So these are all things that are coming out of business pocket or business funds that I hope you put to the side, or personal funds, like you're feeding your business, and it's coming out of your pocket, and you're not making sales yet in order to, I guess, recoup that money for it to balance out. And the longer you don't make money in your business, the longer you're forking out that money to run your business. So that's why some people say people have created a very expensive hobby. I can't even get it out. That's why some people say people have created a very expensive hobby, because you are paying for this hobby or business that you call it, but you're not making money. You're not making sales. And don't think that it's a hobby right off the bat. Like the first couple months, you're probably not gonna make that much money. Just to give you a disclaimer, you're probably not going to make a lot of money the first couple of months. But instead of worrying about the money per se, you need to be making sure you have a solid foundation behind it, which requires these subscriptions. so that once you do start making money, now you're starting to recoup that initial investment, and now things in the back end are flowing more properly. And that leads us to the last thing. One thing that, and I'm gonna kind of say, they do kind of tell you this, they do kind of warn you about this, but I think we don't think it through as much as we should. It requires a lot of time to run a business. It requires a lot of time. And I've already hit on this multiple times in this podcast episode. It's going to require time, which is why you need a solid routine, a solid workflow, so that you're not spinning your wheels and wasting time. Because if you don't have some type of system, you're going to be wasting time spinning your wheels. You are. And it's going to require a lot of time in order for you to actually run this and get it off the ground. Initially, when you first start your business, I feel that the time is different than when you're actually starting to make sales and you're actually starting to, kind of become an established business. I say that because once you become an established business and you have consistent money coming in, you can kind of call the shots a little bit more and start to delegate versus when you were just doing everything on your own. So with that being said, at the very beginning, it is going to require a lot of time for you to run your business, because you're going to be shipping orders, you're going to be packaging orders, you're going to be providing a service. If you're a service-based business, you're going to be setting up all the back end stuff. You're going to be responding to customers. You're going to be responding to emails. You're going to be producing content. You're going to be posting content. You're going to be scheduling content. Like, all of that stuff is going to be you. And so be prepared. Be prepared. Do not get bamboozled by these people making business look pretty. Because yes, they are posting pretty pictures, but business is not pretty. It is not pretty. Even when you're getting a lot of sales, it could be stressful. It could be overwhelming. It could be a lot. And the thing about business, you can't just decide to take a break just because you want to take a break, especially if you are the only one running your business. If you need a week break, you got to prepare your business for that. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I know you bought this product this week, but actually I'm going to take a break and I'm going to come back next week and ship your order. You can't do that. You can't do that. Because if you try to do that, you're going to be getting some mad customers and they are going to be disputing charges and all kind of stuff. So it's like an engine that's constantly running. And so prepare for that. If you are thinking about starting a business, I do want to add at the end of this podcast, since we're coming to a close, I don't want you to become discouraged from becoming an entrepreneur. This is one of those real talk episodes where I'm not going to sugarcoat entrepreneurship. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're going to hear some other things in future episodes where I'm going to be motivating you to become a business owner, and I'll go into details in reference to that, because entrepreneurship is really not for everyone. Some people are better working for people. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to have to deal with everything that is required to have a business, you can be an asset to a business or an asset to a service or whatever. You don't have to be the person running the game or running the show. You don't have to be that person. It is not built for everyone. It is like everyone is not built to be an entrepreneur. Now, this is the greatest time to become an entrepreneur if you're thinking about it, but it is not for everyone. So all I'm saying is, if you're thinking about it, take these things into account. If you have a family, if you have kids, if you have a job, like all of these things you have to, before you ever start your business, you need to literally sit yourself down and be like, am I going to have time to give this the time that it requires? And if you realistically know that you're not in a place at that time right then, be real with yourself. Be real with yourself. And I'm not going to say don't start that business. I'm going to say give yourself extra prep time to prepare for when you are ready to start that business. Because if you're living the right way and preparing yourself to pursue your dreams and your vision, you should be preparing yourself to be able to eventually have time to pursue your business. So if you have a newborn, for example, I'm going to just use this example and then I'm going to close out. If you have a newborn and you work full time and you are a single mother, I'm going to tell you right now, be realistic. Like, I'm going to tell you, be realistic. You can have a dream for your business. That's great. Take care of your baby because you don't need 2 babies right now. But what you can do in the meantime is research. Perfect the skill that you're going to need, or the skills that you're going to need, so when you do start the process of beginning your business, you're already ahead of the game. But you really don't want to burn yourself out before you even get started trying to create products and handle having a baby. You see what I'm saying? I'm just using that as an example because we can be quickly motivated by people online and our lifestyle's not conducive to what we're trying to do at that time. Your baby's gonna grow up, okay? And once you start seeing, okay, I went from having 2 hours to myself to now I have 4 hours to myself, to now I have 6 hours throughout the day to myself. Then that's when you can start getting that engine running. That's when you can start making some moves. That's when you can start occupying some time. But what we do is we try to fit in other stuff in that 2 hours of time, and then we don't have no time for us. We don't have no time for the kids or the family or anything else. And then our business is not producing what it needs to produce because you're only able to give it 2 hours a day. See what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. I hope this episode was helpful for anyone that was listening to this. If you have any thoughts, I highly encourage you to hop over to my YouTube channel, the First Year Business Podcast, and post your thoughts in the comment section. I haven't figured out yet how to, I don't think that they have an option for you to leave comments on the audio podcast. I don't know. I'm new to the podcast industry, so if someone does know, shoot me a message or something and let me know so that I can know how to hear feedback from you guys, because I definitely want to hear feedback from my episodes, okay? So I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to go ahead and end it here, but stay tuned for next Monday's episode where we're going to be talking about more entrepreneurship. I'm going to actually tell you what the episode is going to be real quick, just so you guys can kind of prepare. Let me go to it real quick. Okay, so the next episode is going to be the 7 must-haves when your business, or when you're about to start your first business. So that'll be the next episode, 7 must-haves when you're about to start your first business. So we're going to be diving into some tools and some different things that you're going to need in order for you to get your business going, girl, okay? So like I said, we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.